Welcome to Open Arms, an honest conversation about firearms. Hey everyone, I'm your host Brian Lockerman, and today's episode is brought to you by Open Arms, an MB Studio production show. Today in the studio, I have with me Keri Newell. Hi, Keri. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, this is my understanding that you teach women how to communicate with men. Is that correct?
I do.
I need to know more about this.
Well, when I was young, my parents got divorced. I got married young. I got divorced. And my grandparents were also divorced. So my mom and I worked together, and the question was, why does it start off so good and end so badly? What goes wrong?
Yeah, right.
So we did a lot of research, a lot of studying, and we came up with a program that helped keep married women happily married and the men happily married with them, and getting single women to understand more about men, how different we are. So we're talking about the two genders, male, female, and we are so different.
Well, that's for sure. I agree with that one. Well, I'll tell you what, that's very interesting. Maybe you'll be able to, help people here and keep couples together and bring couples together. Who knows, right?
Who knows? Yeah.
So, with that said, you were talking about like your upbringing. Did you ever have like situations where you felt unsafe?
Absolutely. I grew up in a nice neighborhood in West Los Angeles, but our house was broken into when I was young. We weren't a gun family, so guns were foreign to me and actually quite scary because I understood that having a gun would be a big responsibility.
That is true. Now, what made them scary? Was it the media that made it scary to you, or was it other people talking about how scary they are? Why the fear?
It's a great question. I think the fear was around knowing that you could take someone's life.
Okay.
Big deal, right?
Understanding. Yep.
Also, not knowing about guns, how to use one, how to handle one, gun safety, not knowing anything about them.
Exactly. And that's why I put the show Open Arms together.
Yes.
For that reason. Because safety is so important. And people don't realize that how important the safety training is before you take the gun home.
Right.
Now,
Primary.
have you had some safety training since then?
I have. So I was fortunate enough. I had a stepfather that passed away and very small family. It was just my mom and I felt responsible to keep her safe. And I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, her husband is a stuntman in the Stuntman Hall of Fame, and he would create stunts as well as perform stunts.
Oh, wow.
And so he was all about safety.
Oh, very good.
And so I was very fortunate. He took it upon me to teach me about gun safety, to teach me, I wasn't even allowed to touch a gun at first, right? And quizzed me, had me read books. It was fantastic.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
very good, knowing that you had that training.
Yes.
That's awesome. I like to hear that. I really do. You also told me, too, that you sell some advertising through a local newspaper.
I do. I work for the Conejo Guardian.
What is the Guardian exactly?
It's a newspaper that prides itself on truth-telling, kind of what you might now call old school reporting. It's not opinion pieces, it's facts and research done. And what's really awesome about it is a lot of the articles have been going national. Not a lot of publications out there doing what we're doing.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If there's a local gun store and wants to place an ad in the Guardian, they accept that?
Absolutely.
Because there's some local papers that will not even allow local gun stores to post their ads.
Nope. We've actually had an advertiser.
Okay. It's just kind of discouraging when I hear that.
I know.
They're a business,
Right.
and they're a law-abiding business, and they're people coming in there and getting trained to buy their gun and stuff like that. It's not doing anything wrong.
Right.
And for like a paper saying, nope, you're not going to advertise because that's, we don't want that in our paper. Right? It kind of bugs me.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that about the Guardian. That's great. Now, with that said, do you go to different businesses and different homes to show people, like to sell the ads? Is that how it works?
The paper is a nonprofit, and it
Okay.
is delivered in the Conejo Valley area, as well as distributed to some other businesses and advertisers outside of that area.
Gotcha.
But I think we're at like 48,000
Wow.
distribution.
Very good. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is when you do go to sell the ads, like you have to go to a business or a home.
Oh, when I sell
Yeah.
advertising, I get a lot of referrals, but I do go to some businesses.
Do you ever feel unsafe sometimes walking to a place or going to someone's home or anything? Does that, just out of curiosity?
Not as much in the Conejo Valley area. I live in Los Angeles County.
Oh, okay.
I don't do a lot of, I don't sell advertising there because it's not the market, but I do feel unsafe where I live for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why you've been trained. Now you obviously have guns into your house,
I
correct?
do.
What
I
what do, what
do.
do you have?
Well, I have a Glock 19. I have a shotgun. I just purchased 2 smaller handguns because I have applied for my CCW.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
How far are you into that right now?
Oh, let's see. So I applied last year. I think it was in November. Got a phone call about a month and a half ago
Okay.
from an officer in Los Angeles telling me that I could schedule my CCW. And I was so excited. I had her laughing. Anyway, end of July, I have an interview
Okay.
at LAPD. And from there, I know there'll be hours of training and things
Yes.
like that.
Yes, that's
So
correct.
that will come next. I don't know how long the process will take, but
Yeah, I mean, it all depends, but you're doing the right thing. You're on the right track, and hopefully it goes smooth for you
yes,
because
thank you.
that's a great thing to have. It really is.
I agree.
You can also just to let you know too, you can also apply for what's called I think it's 48 state 1, 2, or something like that, to where you go to either Nevada
Arizona.
or Arizona,
Uh-huh.
and you get that one too. Just the reason I think that's good too. If you get your California CCW, then you're just limited to California. So here you are. You have your gun, and you're crossing the state border. Now it's illegal.
Right.
If you have that other CCW that covers all those states, then you have a peace of mind. You don't have
Right.
to worry about that.
So interesting story. I did apply, took the class, actually brought in a bunch of friends. They all took the class. We fingerprinted, got the money order, sent it in, waited. Everybody seemed to get theirs. Mine wasn't coming. Called them. They never received any of it.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, wow.
So somewhere out there, I'm hoping it just got lost and thrown away and someone doesn't have all my information with my fingerprints. But
Ah.
so I
And-
agree with you. It's good to have
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, I always tell people. In fact, what I tell people too, what helps. I mean, it's getting that first before you apply for California, because California is the toughest.
It is.
And if they see you already have that, it kind of helps a little bit knowing that you've already had some training, some classes, and you already got a CCW
Right.
in all these other states. So it definitely does, maybe push it through a little bit better.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I find that going from being afraid of handling guns to being a gun owner, and I do go to the range sometimes more often, depending on how busy I am. For a while there, I was going once a week,
Well, that's great.
and kind of upping my training all the time. It's a feeling of safety,
That's true. That is true.
and it's a feeling of empowerment. And at the same time, some of my friends aren't for gun ownership.
Oh, I understand that,
And
and I'm not saying everybody has to have a gun or stuff like that. You're entitled to your opinion.
Sure.
You're entitled to your rights to not own that gun, and I'm entitled to my rights to own that gun. That's what the Second Amendment's all about.
Absolutely.
That's why we have that.
What I found really interesting was they had this mentality that gun owners were dangerous or let's go shoot them up
I know.
and I have to say the gun owners that I know, especially the responsible ones, everybody actually that I've come in contact that owns a gun, nobody wants to use it. No
No,
one wants to
no.
have to use it.
No, exactly. You're exactly right. And you brought something up too, like what I do with the show, Open Arms, it's about safety. We also bring in the family values because gun owners are responsible, family valued people. They are. They just
Right.
are in general. And that's one of the other things I think we're losing, these days is our family values. And I'm trying to show people how important that is, because
I agree.
without family values, you get a lot of mental health issues from kids because they
Right.
don't have the connection with their parents and able to sit down and talk to them. Like when I grew up, we had family dinners every night.
Oh, that's awesome.
All the big family got together every Sunday. And if I had a problem in school, I can go to my mom and dad and talk to them.
Right.
Nowadays, kids can't do that.
No, they're
No, I
talking
mean
to their
some
teachers
kids.
and
Yeah. They're scared of life too, which I just don't get.
well, you may have heard the saying before that good times create, wait, no, how does it start off? Tough times create strong men, which create good times,
There you
which create weak men. And I can include women in that or society in general. And I feel like right now we are weak.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
I know. It's funny that you said about how people are so afraid of guns and they're just horrible machines or whatever. I have brought probably over 100 people that have been anti-gun and feared guns to my range, and I told them this: look, let me take you to my range. Let me take you through safety training. Let's do a day of shooting, some fun shooting games and things like that. After it's all said and done, let's sit back down and have that conversation. And I can tell you this right now. There has not been one person who said, oh, these guns are just horrible. They're like, oh my God, I never thought it was that. I feel so good now. Now that I know safety and I've shot a gun, I see them in a different light.
Right.
That's all it takes. Education.
It is.
Education is key. You start educating people and you get the word out there about how safe you have to be with owning a gun. It's going to save a life.
Very,
It'll
very
save
important.
several lives,
Absolutely. I
So,
taught a class to a group of women that some of them, a friend of mine, her husband passed away, and he was a gun owner, and she did not know how to handle the guns that were left behind. And I said, well, I'll come over and show you. She told a friend who told a friend. Anyway, there was about 10 or 12 women there. So I just brought my handgun, of course, unloaded, and talked about gun safety and let them handle the gun.
yeah.
And actually, there was one woman that didn't want to handle it at all, and she was the one that thanked me the most for showing her, what little I could share.
Exactly. I mean, that's right there, right there. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's what it's all about too. If you know safety, you're going to spread the word too.
Right.
And it's all good. We want to get it out there like that.
Right.
That's fantastic.
It's not, I mean, knowledge is power. And, I can just share from my experience of being afraid of guns and then learning more and using them, understanding how important the safety aspect is, and also the importance of protecting myself and my family.
Yes.
That's,
Yes.
the Second Amendment was created to protect ourselves from government. You can look at other countries that don't have gun ownership,
That's correct.
and they are not places that I would want to live.
I know it. I agree on that one. That's 100%.
So, yeah.
Well, good. I mean, I'm glad that you did all the right steps up to date here. I'm glad you're going for your CCW.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is after you get your CCW, I wouldn't mind having you come back on the show to talk about your experience. I've been telling it to a
Sure.
lot of people because I want people to hear your experience and people will learn from what you've done to get it. You know what I mean?
I'd love to come back.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to it. And I'd like to bring you up to our range someday too.
I would love that.
Absolutely, 100%. We'll get that set up. Okay?
Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much, Keri. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's our show for today. And never forget safety, family, and the Second Amendment.